So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world. And welcome to another interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector. And today I'm joined by the band Dawn of Ouroboros. And if you watch the channel, I reviewed the album like a week ago. This album came out in March 7th. And I said I would love to talk to the band. So the good thing is they saw the review and we got in contact. And here I'm joined by Tony and Chelsea from the band. How are you guys tonight?
We're doing good. How are you?
Thank you.
I'm doing good. I'm telling you, I've really been enjoying Bioluminescence. It's a great album. I like it because when I saw that it said there's progressive metal, like death metal, but also clean vocals and other things. I'm like, yeah, this sounds very interesting. And I also like the being called Bioluminescence. So yeah, the album's been out a few weeks now. And it's out on Prosthetic Records. What's been the reception so far?
I mean, the reception's been great. We've always had very positive reception of our albums, but I would say like the size of the reception for this one was a level up from what we've experienced in the past. So it's been going really well for us.
Yeah, for me, it's been phenomenal to just observe some of our growth with the responses we've received so far on this album, and just seeing that, we're clearly hitting new markets that we hadn't before. It's been a really cool experience to see that, yay, we're doing something good,
Yeah, when I was listening to your album, there was some turns time I'm like, ooh, I wasn't expecting that, especially the beginning of Sleeping Burgundy. I was like, yeah, there's like these jazzy elements to the start. And Chelsea, you have like some great vocals. And I want to ask you, are you doing all the vocals on this album? The harsh,
yeah.
How do you do it?
Lots of practice. Making weird noises with my mouth.
Yeah, and I was reading that for when you were writing the writing process for this record, that you had you wrote some of the lyrics on this jamming, and you how did that work?
Yeah, so I like to improv quite a bit. I feel like I create my best work when I'm able to just tap into my brain wavelengths in between, being consciously thinking about what I'm creating versus just feeling things out and kind of just letting things flow. So I would start recording and just start doing vocals and writing in the moment. And afterwards, I'd have to go back and figure out what I did, because I don't even know what I did or what I said there. I have to figure that out. So.
Well, it sounds great. So I was thinking I don't know how you can do that, but it sounds like it's right on the spot, and you do it. And afterwards, you decide what the song is about. You just listen to the music and dictates what the music is going to come out.
So yeah, sometimes it goes just completely free and open. I don't really know what I'm going to write about. Fragile Tranquility was that way. And then there's other times where I'll have a concept in mind that I'll be conscious of, but that's really the only conscious effort that I'm making, is just kind of being mindful of saying things within the theme.
Okay. And Tony, I want to ask you about this, because obviously you have a background in molecular biology. And this album, Bioluminescence, there's a lot of themes. I don't know if it's a concept record per se, but there's a lot of themes like nature and ocean. Can you elaborate a little bit about the themes that you into?
The themes would still be all of Chelsea's realm. She handles pretty much the lyric themes and the theme of the album. I just write the instrumentals and the arrangements and stuff like that, but I'm big on nature and pretty much all the themes we cover myself, but it's really her that handles those and decides what the themes are going to be.
Okay, yeah, well, but you have a big part in the music part that goes along.
Yeah, I guess the music that I write are inspiring her to decide on those themes.
Yeah. So Tony, what's your process like when you're writing like this type of music?
I just jam on my guitar with the recording software open, and I'll jam over either a metronome, or I'll have some like generic like drum loops to jam over along those lines. And then I just record everything that I do when I'm practicing and jamming. And just over time, I'll find ideas that I like, and then I kind of build on those ideas, and then sort of move stuff around in an idea I like into like a complete arrangement, until I guess my deciding factor of when something is done is really just like, oh, I like listening to this, and I guess it's finished.
That
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it helps Chelsea like writing the themes. So since we're talking about themes here, Chelsea, tell me a little bit about some of the themes that we explore on this record.
Yeah, so the title track, Bioluminescence, it really is about what it's named after. So I had the really unique experience of experiencing the phenomenon of bioluminescence while kayaking at night and the PNW. So that was really something that stuck with me as like ethereal, and it feels ethereal, I should say. It's not, but it feels that as such. And that really just kind of, I pulled that into like the album concept because I felt it mirrored a lot of what Dawn of Ouroboros writes in terms of the contrast between dark and light, and like the sweet soaring melodies versus like the doomy darkness that we create in our music. And I thought it would be something that would create really good artwork pieces for the album concept as well. So that's why we went with that. It's the title track. But Slipping Burgundy is really about like romance, and that was something we had written with David Lynch in mind, and that music video that we would later create after the fact, just honoring like David Lynch and like all the art that he's created that's influenced us so heavily. So that song's about like romanticism from like the perspective of a female, and how the color burgundy is a color that I associate with that. So
No, and the start to that song, I was like, wow, blown away. Like I wasn't expecting that start. So I felt like, yeah, this is very different. And then you go into like the more like harsher vocals, but it blends like very easily. So I loved it because it kept me on my toes. Like I wasn't expecting it. And you said bioluminescence. What bay were you like kayaking?
In the Pacific Northwest, so around Oregon and Seattle, Washington area, with the Puget Sound, particularly in Washington State.
Awesome. So if you ever visit Puerto Rico,
yeah,
like the #1 bioluminescent bay is actually in Vieques, Puerto Rico, and I've done that as well, and it's good because since it's like a little island, you get like there's not a whole lot of like light, so you get the stars and the bioluminescent. It was great. I think there was a shark near, and but yeah, it's I thought of that when I was listening to that. One song I love the beginning of Dueling Sunsets, because the beginning, I think I said in my review, it sounded like the drums and the guitar were doing a duel.
Oh, really? Yeah, I wouldn't say that was a thought, but I can hear what you mean now that you mention
it does.
it.
Yeah.
I'll do a motion and a pattern, and then there's the drum fill, and then it kind of trades back and forth on that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm like, I wonder if they did that consciously or if it just turned out that way because the song is called Dueling Sunsets. That's a pretty cool one. So when you guys were like starting as a band, getting into music, I'm curious, like, because I listened to so many different influences here, like what bands got you into heavy music?
mine's a little longer. Should I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been listening to like extreme metal since around 1999, and I would say like the first genuine metal band I got into was Cradle of Filth. But before that, I was into stuff like I was like 14, 13, so I was into like Nine Inch Nails and like Korn and stuff. That was big at the time. But once I discovered like Cradle of Filth, I like got into metal, and then kind of like Dimmu Borgir, and then I found the progressive like death metal stuff like Death, Individual Thought Patterns album, bands like Atheist, and then I just kind of explored all the different subgenres of metal, like kind of liked all of them for the most part, with like black metal ended up being the one that I gravitated to the most strongly. So, at the time there was like the melodic Swedish black metal and a lot of the Norwegian stuff like Mayhem and Emperor I was really into. But yeah, I just have always kind of, I guess, stayed current with what is, like what new bands are coming, what's happening within all the subgenres of metal, and just pull influences from, everything that I listen to. In like, I guess, sort of a subconscious way, really. But yeah, always trying to find the excitement of discovering like a band that's doing something new, and still get a lot of enjoyment out of just being a music fan myself still.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because I think if you're like if you're a musician but not much of a music fan, you won't get into newer stuff. But I think it's good to keep that excitement, to keep like maybe pushing yourself. Like you listen to someone like when I was like reviewing your album, I thought also like you guys and Oceans of Slumber would be great together touring.
We've had the comparison before. I haven't listened to them that much, but we're definitely familiar with who they are.
Yeah. So what about you, Chelsea?
So I mean, music was always a big part of my life from a young age. My dad and I would just bond over listening to music together for hours, and identifying the different instruments and what the meaning behind the music was. It was just our way of bonding at the end of the day. So he actually, at a young age, I was exposed to like Metallica, the classics, like thrash classics. I don't even
Thrash
know.
classics.
I don't like who else.
Metallica, Megadeth,
Yeah.
Anthrax, and Slayer would be
Yeah.
the big ones, I guess.
Testament.
Testament.
Yeah. So things like that, where I was exposed to at a young age, but as became a teenager, as most teenagers did in the 2006 to 9 era, I got into like metalcore. So I listened to a lot of metalcore, which kind of opened me up to wanting to try to do vocals, and luckily I was able to do them. I just was completely blind and going in like, I think I can do it, and I gave it a go. And I started in like the mid-range, and I built my skill set outwards so that I could do different styles of music, and kind of just kept going. It's just when you love something, right? It just somehow it just unfolds.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but definitely your vocal range is you have you can do like the growls, the cleans, like different stuff. So yeah, not everyone can do them, and also do them like in the song. Like you sometimes you change from a growl to a clean like very fast. So yeah, I was like, and I was reading. I'm like, no, it doesn't say there's another singer. It's just like,
She does it live.
yeah, I would love to see you guys live. I would think that would be good. And talking about live, so like the other day, Baroness announced that they're doing the red and blue tour, and
Yes.
you are on half of that tour.
Yeah, they have different support bands for each half of the tour. So we're on the first half, May 7th through May 18th.
Yeah, I'm gonna show here and I saw Baroness when I was living in Florida, and I took a picture with the singer, really cool guy. So tell me a little bit about obviously this is an exciting this is an exciting tour because a lot of people are going to be exposed to Dawn of Ouroboros that probably haven't heard of the band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely very exciting for us. This will be our second tour in which we've supported like a more established band, the first being with Fallujah last year. Yeah, so we're excited. We feel we've grown as live musicians within the past year, and we're going to go with this, and
We're gonna give it our all.
give it our all.
Yeah.
Really, if there's no other way of putting that, and hope that people are going to enjoy what we do.
Yeah, there's huge benefits
Yeah.
to being on support tours of this caliber. So we are fully aware and intend on putting all the respect that needs to be there behind sharing the stage with them and supporting them, opening up, trying to rally up the crowd, all those things.
Yeah, and maybe who knows? Maybe for the next album, maybe the singer from Baroness can do the artwork.
Yeah,
he is very good.
He's very talented.
Yeah. He does great artwork. I love their artwork, but obviously the artwork for your album is pretty cool as well. So let's talk a little bit about the artwork for your album. Here I have it. Here's the artwork for the band, for the album. So yeah, tell me a little bit about what you were going for with this artwork.
So, I think the darkness and the light, the contrast was very important to me. Like having the appearance of it being illuminated, the way the light is hitting the subject was something of the utmost importance. We worked with Alex Ekman-Lon, who's a extraordinarily talented artist who specializes in creating like kind of a depth perception within his art.
Mm-hmm.
We actually spent a lot of time sourcing the right artist. We went through countless profiles and
there's
portfolios trying to find the right one, and landed on Alex, and the whole experience from start to finish was very professional. So
yeah, we felt that what he does would really capture and fit well with what we sound like as a band. There's so many like incredible artists that work within the heavy metal community, and so it's really just exploring just art for weeks until we found someone like, hey, I think what this guy does will really capture the mood and the feeling that we're trying to go for with this album, and he did a really good job.
Yeah, no, it definitely captures the mood and the essence of the record, and I think it's at this age it's very important. I know in the 90s it was very important to pick like the album artwork, but I think it's coming back that important for the artwork. And I was looking at the artwork for your previous albums, and you always had there's always a lot of like different colors in your album, which is good. Not afraid to use colors in your music, to express like different emotions. So yeah, I think it went pretty good. And it shows there's a song that I didn't talk in my review, and I should have, and it's Poseidon's Hymn. I thought that was a pretty cool track as well. I think I just talked a little bit about it. What's that one about?
So the god Poseidon really is kind of the whole theme of it. But I actually have a cat named Poseidon, and I love him so much. And on the second album, there was the song Velvet Moon is really my other cat, Persephone's like my little song to her. And so for this album, I was like, I have to do one for Poseidon. And I'm like, I can't have it be as obvious as like writing a song for my cat, like, what would I name it? Kitty Cat Time? Like, I don't know. So I was like, well, luckily he has a cool name, so let me go off of that. And so I just wrote a song for the mythological god Poseidon based off of like something that would support him, even though as a character he is a little tumultuous, and maybe people wouldn't write about him if he was real in that light, but like I just wanted to write something that was like him that he'd be happy with, and feel honored with. So that, for me, lyrically, that's where I was going. But overall, the song kind of has like a fun, like ocean vibe and feel. Yeah.
Does your cat like the water?
He does take a bath. Well, he's a Sphinx cat, so he does get bath time. So yeah.
So it's good that because you wrote a song on your last album for your other cat. So for not to get jealous, you have to write a song
Exactly.
about the cat. Yeah, that's interesting. That's the sort of thing that you find out. So now people will be so the song was inspired by the cat. So
Yes.
yeah. What do you do you have a favorite song right now of the album, like to play live?
Play live. I like playing Nebulae.
That is a good opener. That's it's just
That's all over. That song is all over the place. That's the second one. Yeah.
the second track. But on our album release tour that we just did, that was like our show opener, as we just come right in with that song.
So people will know that it's on. You guys don't mean business. Yeah, because I know the last song on the album is more like the piano, the softer track, which I thought was good because it was a good way to end the record. And like when I was listening to the record, I think there's a lot of like mentioning of water and like on the record. So I thought that was like awesome to have it. So and you said that you guys are very into nature. Like, would you ever play like a show? Like I know that they're doing sometimes now shows outside or in like a venue that would be more like nature like that you like to play.
Oh, that'd be really cool. Yeah.
One that we wouldn't get on right now, or like maybe ever, would be Prophecy Fest in France, right?
Yeah, it's in Germany, but it's limited to bands that are assigned to the record label.
But they do it in a cave.
But they have a whole festival in a cave in Germany.
Really cool.
That sounds awesome. How do they control like the volume of the music so it doesn't
I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. We need to go and just observe or something.
Yeah. I would love to see a show at Red Rocks. I think that it's not a cave, but it's outside. I like shows that are here in Puerto Rico. There's an amphitheater that is next to a park and it's outside. And I don't know. I like shows that are like that because first of all, the ears, I don't have to wear the earplugs and like that. I don't know. It's like the music feels better when it's outside.
Yeah. You have no reflection of the music bouncing off the ceiling and back at you and things like that. It just goes out. Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what I would feel about it. So and what was the hardest song to write for this record?
Oh,
I think it'd probably be different for each of us.
Different. I mean, with me personally, with when I write the arrangements, I'm really just trying to, do what feels natural. So I wouldn't say any of them are more difficult than one another to do. But yeah, I'll try to challenge myself with things I haven't done before. So I'll use the song Fragile Tranquility, for example. There's a lot of sections in there that are in the time signature 13/4, which is something I'd never tried before, but just wanted to see if I could do it. So I guess that would be one challenge.
For me, I would say that song also was quite challenging. It was the last one I tackled on the album, and I think I was working on it like at 3 a.m. I felt like I was losing my mind, trying to come up with this song. And I think it's by far the weirdest song on the album. Vocally, it's quite out there compared to some of the other ones. But yeah, that one was hard. I feel like it took a bit of each of our souls with it. So
It's also using an 8-string guitar, which is the only song. So
Yeah, I can't even play a 2-string. So yeah, I imagine that would be hard as well. So so obviously on May you're going to be on that tour. After that, what's next for Dawn of Ouroboros?
we do have one other tour planned for this year that's not announced yet. That we'll be announcing within the next month or two.
So we'll have
working on new music as well, and just keep moving forward with what we do. Yeah. Just do what we do and put it out to the world and hope that people like it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just released an album, but you're already working on newer stuff. So yeah, well, you gotta keep the momentum going, obviously, and the music. So how long was the process of you? Like, how long did it take to work on this record?
I guess the writing and recording, it's about a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then usually with an album, once it's finished, it takes another year until it's released public with, like
the schedule,
getting everything,
label,
scheduling,
artwork, all that.
Getting like the vinyl records and CDs and all that made. That usually takes about a year to set up. So yeah, writing to release about 2 years.
That's why you gotta start working on the new one.
Exactly. Yeah.
It takes a while. Where can people get the physical format for your album?
Well, if you are in North America, you can get it from the Prosthetic Store, from our Bandcamp, and other stores like the Indie Merch Store. If you are in Europe, you can get it from Evil Greed. And then we have a Japanese label, Spiritual Beast, who has put out a Japan edition of Bioluminescence and also our album Velvet Incandescence, which, like with most Japanese releases, will have bonus tracks that are specific for that region.
That's not fair for the rest of us. What's the extra songs that
like live versions of a few of the songs? Well, yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So yeah, so I really enjoyed this album. Like I said in my review, like it's a pretty cool album. It has a little bit of everything, and it's like it's awesome from beginning to end. So so yeah, so it seems like you have a lot of stuff for this year. So you guys will be busy. So I always like to ask like musicians sometimes like what new stuff like are you spinning right now on vinyl? If you have vinyl, or like any new stuff that you're being spinning lately?
There's one I really like. I can't remember the name because it's hard to say. But I've been enjoying the new Deaf Heaven as one that just came out within the past week.
Deaf Heaven's release is phenomenal.
And
I'm always still stuck on Alcest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Alcest came to Puerto Rico like 10 years ago, and I had no idea who they were, and I didn't go, and now I'm like,
no. They just came for like the first time in what, 5 years?
7 years.
7 years. And because our tour was lined up pretty much the same time as them, I didn't get to see them. So I'm like, no, I'm never gonna see Alcest. I have to make it happen at some point.
Yeah, that Deaf Heaven album I also reviewed. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then this other album I've been into, I have no idea how to actually say this band's name. They're from Poland. They're sort of avant-garde metal. Ulieta Diger. I could give you that in text, but it's like dissonant avant-garde metal, so maybe some Imperial Triumphant would be a comparison to that. Who also put out another great album this year too.
Oh yeah, I listened to that one as well. It's a little that was a little bit. They're a little bit too abrasive.
I really enjoy Abrasive. So
Yeah. So yeah, anything else you're I think anything else you're spinning, Chelsea?
You know, honestly, on new releases, I'm a little behind. I need to get caught up on new releases, but like, you know, always my classics, The Circle by Hirator, and you know, I'm a big Ulver fan, and I like, you know, Alcest and Deaf Heaven and Hail Spirit Nor. I really love them. So those are like some of my top listens for sure.
Yeah. So, and I'm sure your album on vinyl has to sound great. How many variants did you guys get for this one?
we just have one for this one, but it is the perfect color.
Yeah, I mean, like there's no topping it.
Does it glow?
It doesn't.
Maybe if you had a fluorescent light.
But it's very bright and pretty,
Yeah.
and very much, you know, reflective of the album title, Bioluminescence. It just feels like the perfect color for it. So that's why we're like, well, I can't even pick a second one. It's just, there's no topping it.
Yeah, I remember a few years ago I bought an album by the band Bola. They're like a progressive metal band, and it said that the album was supposed to glow, but it only glowed if you put it outside and get it exposed to sunlight.
What?
Yes, so it only glowed. I'm like this. It was a ripoff.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Like, I don't want to ruin it.
Put it in the sunlight and ruin it. Finally, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, it's been great talking to you guys. When I reviewed the album, I'm like, yeah, this is a band that I would love to talk to and get more into the themes of this record. So before I let you guys go, anything you like to say to the fans before we go?
I mean, really, just thank you for having us. Thanks for enjoying the album. You know, to anybody that's listening to your show, you know, we hope you enjoy it as well. And just thank you in general.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us today. And, you know, to everybody that's helped us grow and expand our horizons and get new opportunities, like, we can't thank you enough. The best thing you can do is keep supporting us, and then we can come tour places like Puerto Rico someday. So, you know, we want to get out and tour more places. We've only really been in America and Canada so far, so hoping that can change soon.
If you guys come and play Puerto Rico, we'll all have to go to the Bioluminescence Bay.
Yes.
In Vieques. Yeah, it's and also scuba diving. I scuba dive. I haven't scuba dived in a while, but yeah, not at night.
Yeah. Who knows what's in there at night?
That's what flashlights are for.
No, that's what flashlights are.
I don't know.
What if you flashlight and you're like, oh, there's the shark.
He's gonna eat me. No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you. In the when there's daylight. So yeah, so where in Cali? I never asked you where in California you guys are from.
We're from the San Francisco Bay Area. We've actually have moved away from there, but we're kind of spread out as a band. We do consider the Bay Area sort of our home base still. We were born there, and grew up there, but
I've interviewed so many bands from the Bay Area. I'm like, there's a lot of cool bands in the Bay Area. So yeah, it's an awesome. Plus, the food there is awesome.
Yeah, very diverse culturally, and you can just get anything from any cuisine you want. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So hopefully, hopefully you guys get to get bigger tours, and hopefully, like you'll get to tour other places. But for now, obviously, opening for Baroness is a big deal. So that's an awesome tour for you guys. So happy for you guys that you get to go and open for Baroness, and maybe more people can get into the band. So yeah, I want to thank you, for meeting me from California here to Puerto Rico. So Couchers, Dawn of Ouroboros, Bioluminescence is out now. And also, if you're in the States, catch them on tour, opening for Baroness on the first leg of the tour.
Yes.
So until next time, Couchers, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a Couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.